Instead of using a vertical camera for vertical content, I find myself using the FX6 in horizontal mode more and more often, especially for online content like Instagram Reels. And I can do this because I found a way to exactly see on the FX6's screen which part of the frame will be in the reel and in the different viewing modes like full screen and timeline view. So here are the two tips that need to be combined to see the necessary areas directly on the camera screen. At first we dial in the visible aspect ratio. With the normal layout of the camera screen, you cannot see which part of your image will fit into the vertical resolution of an Instagram reel. You can easily change this by showing a frame that represents this vertical aspect ratio of 9:16. You can find this in the menu. Go to Monitoring, Marker and set this to On. Set the aspect marker to Mask. You could set it to Line as well, but I couldn't see this properly when I was filming. And you can choose how transparent this frame should be, so you can concentrate on the image inside of the frame, but you still can see what's happening outside. I set this to 10. And of course we have to define which mask aspect ratio we want. Well, mine is already correctly set, but when you start, there are some aspect ratios you can choose from, but no 9:16. No worries, you can set a custom aspect marker where you can dial in any value you want, so we take 9:16. But as we see, only this small part of the footage is used in the Instagram reel and I lose the rest. A lot of people use a vertical camera because they want the full resolution of the sensor. They don't want to crop their image. But do we see a difference in the end result? Well, vertical 4K has a resolution of 2160 by 3840. Instagram converts every video down to 1080 by 1920. Even if you upload it in 4K, it is downscaled. The 4K is gone. Horizontal 4K has a resolution of 3840 by 2160. So the frame still has more vertical pixels than what are needed in the reel. And remember, reels are watched on a phone, and I couldn't see any difference between a downscaled 3840 image and a 2160 image, which is still too large and needs to be downscaled by Instagram, as we've just seen. And if you think about it, when you watch your normal horizontal video on a big screen, you'll probably say it's tech sharp, right? So why could it be not sharp enough anymore when you just crop the sides? And since I don't need any crazy digital zooms in my reel, I would say the horizontal approach is fine for this project. In addition, filming horizontally can have its advantages, especially when you film fast-moving objects like birds or cars that are hard to frame vertically. You can film this easier in horizontal mode because you more likely have it in the frame and then you just reframe it in post-production. Also, there are cases where you need additional image data in post-production that isn't even present in a vertical frame. For example, in this shot where I want to do a surface tracking on the screen, you cannot see the screen edges in the vertical resolution, making it difficult to track reliably. That's why I used my horizontal footage for tracking and I cropped the edges later. For this project I even made a behind-the-scenes video which should be shown on a horizontal platform like YouTube. You have hard times when you only have vertical footage. I initially said I have 2 tips to set up your FX6 screen, and here's the second one. Although Instagram Reels in general have a resolution of 1080 by 1920, the top and bottom parts are cropped when you view the video in the timeline. The aspect ratio drops from 9:16 to 4:5. In pixel that's 1080 by 1350 instead of 1920. So it's very important to see while you film if your subject is in this smaller view as well. And therefore you can use the box setting that's inside the FX6. You can draw a box of any size inside of the screen, and I used it to mimic the size of a video shown in the Instagram timeline. This number here, 153, doesn't mean anything basically. It's not in any way related to your real resolution of your footage. It might be the pixel width on the FX6's screen, and it says 153 when I make my box as wide as the frame of my aspect ratio. But since we know that we have a ratio of 4:5, we can use this value to calculate the height of the box. We get 191. So that's exactly what I set in the box height in the menu. Then I made sure that all the faces, cars and whatever I filmed were inside of that frame to not get cut off. And no matter what you film, it should look great in the end. And if you want a film look, check out this plugin here, it really helps a lot.